get started. I wanted to do a Mega Monday because I haven't done it in a while. So that's probably a pretty darn essential for, like, how can you have a Monday without Murder Mystery Monday? I decided to do JonBenet Ramsey because it's still unsolved and it's still a mystery. So
I've been getting paid $1,000 a month, if not more.
I don't want an
just
ad
from this
though.
app on my phone.
That sucks. What a great YouTube dive. Starting with a fresh ad. Skip it. Alright.
This week on BuzzFeed,
I wanted to watch
we
this
discussed
first.
the death of JonBenet Ramsey, a case that to this day still
What
captivates
is
the
this?
nation.
What's this
I
channel?
gotta say,
Oh, it's a BuzzFeed thing. Probably shouldn't do that one. This is from Netflix. ABC News. Let's do that.
The whole JonBenet thing, you see it on TV all the time.
I have straight up
All the terrible
no
things that
actual
can happen to people.
Oh,
I was her
no, I
age.
hit it.
She would be my age now. She would be pursuing her own career.
There we go.
Once you realize, like, she never got to grow up.
Back then, Thumper
Stupid
Gosney
headset
was
is being
JonBenet's
stupid.
friend and competitor on the Kitty Beauty
it.
pageant circuit.
JonBenet was the nicest girl. Like, she was
here
very
we go.
poised in all of her things she did.
Here in the foothills
I
of the Rockies
I gotta get
is
my
the
liquid
town where
refreshment.
JonBenet Ramsey grew up. Boulder, Colorado, a quirky college town described by locals as 25 square
Also
miles
part
of
two.
fantasy surrounded by reality.
We assumed we were
Crazy.
living in a little town and that evil existed elsewhere.
The year was 1996. The Macarena at the top of the charts.
Really? Is the Macarena at the top of the chart?
Oprah.
Oh,
started
welcome back outside of
The
life.
country had
How's
just
it going,
re-elected
friend?
President Bill Clinton.
It's a Murder
As for the
Monday.
Ramseys, John and Patsy, 6-year-old JonBenet, and big brother Burke, age 9, they were the very picture of the good life. Wealthy,
though?
thanks to John's thriving computer business.
Patsy was a high society woman
why
from
JonBenet?
Atlanta who knew how to decorate her house. John was a smart guy who had just been nominated or voted as Entrepreneur of the Year. So really the two of them were high society for Boulder.
Patsy had just beaten ovarian cancer and was
Oh,
celebrating her 40th birthday. This was a
So
Christmas
wait, were
that
they
promised
actually,
to be
like,
as merry and
famous?
bright as the Ramseys video greeting
I'm
card.
lost.
We'd like to welcome you
Were
to
they
our
actually
home and
famous?
wish you a very Merry Christmas.
She
I guess
decorated
so.
that place with Christmas trees in every room.
Family friend
A lot
Pam
of
Barden.
trees.
She was a Southern belle. Everything was about entertaining.
You say neither, and I say neither.
Patsy always liked to be in the limelight, and she was in the pageant.
No, this isn't the murder trial. Because here's the thing. They never figured out who did it. So... Oh, shit. We'll go back to that. We'll figure it out. So, JonBenet Ramsey is the little girl. She, a friend, hi. This is a little girl, and she was 6 years old when she was killed. They never figure out who did it. So, the suspects, they think possibly the mother. They also think possibly... Oh, did I see your message? Probably not. Hold up. No. Oh my god, no you didn't. No, they think it's possible that he did it. They said it's possible. Oh my god, hold on. Drama is happening. Dizzle, I love you. Dude, you're ridiculous. Do it again. Anyways, they also think possibly the brother. Some rando from town. The electrician? They thought the electrician did it? Okay, hold up. We're going through all this. Alright, so there's like a bunch of people that they think could have done it. They aren't sure.
Own career.
circuit.
JonBenét was the
I know that
nicest
she was
girl.
like a pageant queen.
Was very poised in all of her things she
God,
did.
friend, that's so funny.
Here in the foothills of the
That is
Rockies
so
is
funny.
the town where JonBenét Ramsey
That's
grew
crazy,
up.
though.
Boulder, Colorado, a quirky college town
I'm sure
described
he
by locals
does.
as 20
Dude, it really is. There's
miles
so
of
much to
fantasy
this, and I just
surrounded
wanted
by
to
real
dive
life.
into it today.
We
Why?
assumed we were
Because I
in
don't want to do
a
anything
town
else.
and
It's
the
been on my
evil
mind
existed
all day
elsewhere.
long.
The year was 1996.
And I mean, it was
The
perfect.
Macarena
It's
at
Monday.
the top of the charts.
The fact that the Macarena was
started a
ever
book
at the
club.
top of the charts is
The
kind of
country had just
embarrassing.
re-elected President Bill Clinton. As for the Ramseys, John and Patsy, 6-year-old JonBenét, and big brother Burke, age 9, they were the very picture of the good life. Wealthy, thanks to John's thriving computer business.
Oh, well, you saw this.
Patsy
we saw
was a
this.
high society for Boulder.
This was family friend.
God, all the Christmas trees.
This is an interesting item I'd like you to see.
The name JonBenét.
Yeah,
was
she
a
like
fanciful
popular,
hybrid of her
popular.
father's, John Bennett.
Beautiful little girl, though.
Jeans, beautiful
I mean, she
smile.
really was beautiful. Beautiful
And
little
she was
girl.
just a mischievous, fun little girl.
Yeah, no,
At the
she-
age of 4, she began following in her mother's footsteps.
That hat, though, baby.
That Christmas night of 1996, the Ramsey family had been out at a party at a friend's house. As they would
Wait.
tell Barbara Walters in an interview
She died
several
on
years
Christmas?
later,
Hold
they
up.
got home well after dark.
JonBenét
We
was
need all
super
these
well.
tabs, all of them.
Arrived home, we took her to bed,
We are
got her up to
indeed.
bed, set the
She
alarm,
showed
and
on
went to sleep.
Christmas.
Before dawn
Right
the
on
next
Christmas.
morning,
That's
Patsy was
terrible.
the first one up. As she headed down this spiral staircase, something catches her eye. Several pieces of paper.
There were 3 pages neatly laid across one of the runs of the stairway.
Pages scrawled with a handwritten, heart-stopping message. It was a ransom note.
Of all
This
of the
editing,
evidence
though.
left behind, that ransom note is the most baffling.
Reporter Diane Diamond has
I
covered the
don't-
story from the beginning. She says the author of the ransom note seemed to know a lot about the family. The demand for $118,000 was close to the exact amount of John Ramsey's bonus that year.
A ransom note is not that long. A ransom note says, I have your child, I want $1 million.
Yeah, really.
I'll call you later. This is 2.5 pages long. Whoever
Can we,
does
hold
that-
on, can we see the ransom note? Do they have pictures of it? Oh shit, they sure do. Each. We are a group of individuals that represent a small foreign faction. We respect your business, but not the country that it serves. At this time, we have your girls. Calm it down, or hey, come shut my door. Thank you. At this time, we have your daughter in our possession. She is safe and unharmed, and if you want to see 1997, you must follow our instructions to the letter. You will withdraw $118,000. This really is kind of long and drawn out. $100,000 will be in $100 bills, and the remaining $18,000 in $20 bills. Make sure that you bring an adequate size to the bank. When you get home, we will put the money in a brown paper bag. I will call you between 8 and 10 a.m. tomorrow to instruct you on delivery. This is hard to read. Delivery will be exhausting, so I advise you to be rested. If we monitor you getting the money early, we might call you early to arrange on an earlier delivery of the money. And I can't read this. So basically, they're saying we want money, we want it specific, and we want it now, but also we're flexible. They're flexible.
I remember when I read
That's
We Have Your
weird.
Daughter, it just, this overwhelming fear, and I just dashed back up those stairs as fast as I could and pushed her door open.
And then?
And then I just screamed for John.
Jean Benet had vanished.
We are kidnapping. Hurry, please explain to me what's going on. Are you Patsy Ramsey? I'm the mother. Oh my God. Please. I'm okay.
That's believable.
Okay?
I don't know that
You
she
know how long
knew.
she's been gone? No, I don't. Please, we just got out and she's right here. Oh my God, please.
The call was made to 911, and within 2 or 3 minutes, Patsy Ramsey's on the phone to her friends and neighbors. Come on over.
John was also making calls.
He said, they've got her.
Straight
What
up,
do you mean they've got
that
her?
message. That's so
They've
long.
kidnapped Jean Benet. She's gone.
Who is that? Is that
were streaming through that house. They were in the kitchen. They were in the living room.
They're all talking. They're passing the ransom note around.
Police should have secured that scene by telling everybody, get out. I'm sorry, this is a crime scene.
It was just one of many mistakes police made that day. The first detective on the scene also did something that would radically compromise the case.
Linda Arndt tells the restless John, why don't you look around the house, see if anything is missing or looks strange. Start at the top and go to the bottom. But he didn't do that. He went to the basement first, where, of course, whoa, he finds his daughter's body.
I saw her lying on the
How
floor.
did he know it was
with
in the
a
basement?
White blanket. Her hands were tied above her head. She had tape over her mouth. Her eyes were closed.
And lo and behold, when John Ramsey
They took the time to
finds
close
the
her
body,
eye. What the?
you now have John Ramsey at the crime scene.
John Ramsey picked that little girl up, took the tape off of her mouth, and dragged her upstairs in his arms. And then the coup de grace. He grabs a blanket, which is full of who knows what kind of contaminants, and throws it over the body. Right then and there, the police investigation
is fucked.
Was tainted.
Jean Benet had been strangled with a length of cord, a vicious homemade weapon known as a garrote. She was hit on the head with enormous force, and there was evidence of sexual abuse.
Wow,
Knelt next
they
to her
really
and
done
leaned
messed
down
up.
to her face. And John leaned down
Down deep.
opposite me.
In her 1999 interview, Detective Arndt seemed to suggest to Elizabeth Vargas that in that moment, she was afraid of John Ramsey.
And we had a nonverbal exchange that I will never forget.
Dizzle, I can't with you, man.
And he asked if she was dead.
I'm so
And I
done.
said, yes, she's dead.
Wow.
And as we
Can you
looked at
imagine
each
being
other,
that mom, though?
I remember, and I wore a shoulder holster.
That's
tucking
crazy.
my gun right next to me
Crazy.
and consciously counting, I've got 18 bullets.
Why did you do that?
Yeah, why did you do
Because
that?
I didn't
You
know if
crazy.
we'd all be alive when people showed up.
When Patsy Ramsey saw her daughter's body, she collapsed.
I knelt down over her and just laid my body on her body and my cheek against her cheek.
So you fucked up the investigation even more.
And I just kept
Why did they
saying,
not stop
"No,
these
no,"
people?
You know, ask God. Ask God to raise her.
The kidnapping had just turned into a murder. Speculation about
Oh my
possible suspects
goodness, the
begins
panda got the
immediately,
treat.
and no one can be
He
ruled
said,
out.
I know.
Thank
who
you for
killed Jean
treating the
Benet.
panda.
There's no
This is no
doubt
more.
in my mind who killed Jean Benet.
And the grand juror, who thinks he knows too.
All right, part 2. I'm deep into
Why doesn't
this
every
one.
home in the
Oh,
US
I
or
don't
so-
want that. Don't care about commercials. I want to see the case. There's a part 3.
The evening of December
Wow.
26th. Earlier that day,
These are kinda
Jean
short,
Benet's
too.
body was found, and the street outside was quiet.
They brought Jean Benet's body out past the candy canes that were decorating the front of the house, and there were only
Really?
like 2 reporters outside to capture that. And then the storm happened.
Boy, why are you on
Ramsey,
her
little girl in
coat?
Colorado, was murdered.
Beauty
Let
queen
me
Jean
get my
Benet.
headset
Jean
off
Benet's
fixed,
murder
and
has
I'm gonna
frightened
try.
residents of Boulder.
This case had everything. It had a beautiful little girl murdered, found in her home, her parents as suspects, videotape
God,
of
this
her
case is
beauty
nuts.
pageants.
It touched every parent's heart.
Okay, I'm good.
This
I'm
was
good.
a child
I'm
who
just
was
antsy.
put to bed by her parents and never woke up. I mean, that's every parent's
I
nightmare.
mean, it really
Hundreds
is.
of reporters descended on the small city of Boulder, including Craig Lewis of the
I mean, I have
supermarket
2
tabloid,
kids,
The
right? So
Globe.
you sit there, you
His
put them to
marching
sleep
orders
thinking that
were
they're going to
clear.
be safe.
When the beauty pageant pictures came out and they put Jean Benet on the cover of the magazine, they sold an extra 500,000 copies a week They said, we want a story a week, every week. We don't care what the story is. We just want to put John Bonet's picture on the cover.
Those pageant videos raised eyebrows, but for some, so did the Ramseys' behavior. Carol McKinley is a veteran Colorado reporter.
John Ramsey got on the phone right after his daughter's body was found to his pilot to get him out of town. I mean, John Bonet's body's lying under the Christmas tree.
It was reported that shortly after you found your daughter's body, that you called the pilot of your plane to arrange a flight to Atlanta. Is that true?
I did. Police took the house over, had nowhere to go. We wanted to go home.
What do you mean? They didn't want to talk to the police. They lawyered up right away.
The Ramseys agreed to give handwriting,
Your daughter's
hair,
dead.
and blood samples.
Why would
Still,
you not?
They refused formal interviews with the police.
At this point, they haven't interviewed the mother or father. Not surprisingly, they're still very grief-stricken. They have not been in any kind of condition to be interviewed.
There was no evidence of a break-in. There was no jimmying on the front door. There was no back door crashed in. There were 4 people in that house, and 1 died overnight. So everyone inside was a suspect.
Right. The primary reason the focus so quickly turned to the Ramseys was you had that ransom note. Who would write a 3-page rambling ransom note other than someone trying to
We're
cover their
flexible.
tracks, who was in the house?
I mean, if you can get it earlier, we're
You two
flexible.
were the prime suspects. What did you think? What did you feel? What did you say?
Well, we were outraged. We were shocked. How could they think that? We were a normal family.
You just can't believe it. I mean, we're suffering from having lost our child, and then for someone to accuse you, it's just you can't believe that would happen.
The book says the parents always did it. And that became the conclusion. The tragedy of the police investigation was that it ended on December 26th.
You went right to the body.
Their 15-room mansion was
You
now
went right
a
to the
crime
body.
scene.
You
And what
tampered with the
investigators
crime
soon learned
scene.
was
You
that
sat
some
there and
items
called your
used by the
pilot to
killer
get you out.
belonged to
On top
Patsy
of that, you're
Ramsey.
acting
The ransom
funny.
note
There's
and
no
a second
evidence of a
draft note,
break-in.
Police say written on her notepad. The paintbrush
I'm sorry,
used as
but
part of
it
the
looks
garage
messed up.
came from Patsy's art supplies. There were even fibers from the black and red check blazer she wore that night stuck to the duct tape.
I don't know
covering
if it was the
Jean Benet's
mother.
mouth.
There was a red jacket all over the place downstairs, including on the underside of the duct tape, and that was very, very important. But there are problems because Patsy lived in that house. Would those fibers have been there anyway?
3 days after Jean Benet died, the Ramseys held a
fair.
memorial service for their daughter.
I guess
she was
it's
buried in
fair.
Atlanta beside her half-sister Beth, John's daughter by his first wife. But 24 hours later,
What happened
they
to Beth?
surprised everyone, breaking their silence on television.
You wanted to talk now.
They held everybody off with layers of lawyers and friends, and then the next thing the police knew, they were on CNN.
If anyone knows anything, please, please help us.
And as a mother, my heart went out to this couple, but my journalistic brain said to me, this isn't right. They should be talking to the police, not the public via cable television network.
John Ramsey says it's an interview he now regrets doing.
5 days after the murder, you did an interview on CNN. Why did you do that?
We did it reluctantly and at
Now I gotta know. So, what's the time? Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is what we needed. So, December 23rd, they call because their daughter is missing. On Christmas, their daughter is missing and they went to a Christmas party. I'm sorry, but the bitch is canceled. We can't make it. Your kid is missing. Wait. Oh, okay. This was like years before. Okay. So Christmas, she gets a bike. That makes a lot more sense. The next day, she discovered the letter. Two days later, they give their samples, but they don't interview, apparently. They go to Atlanta, have the funeral. So 26. So 6 days later, that's when the funeral is. And then a week later, they do an interview. Huh. That's weird timelines. Interesting. Okay, we're gonna keep that in mind.
Friends who could
a week later, instead of going to the police with an interview, they went to.
Back in Boulder, the tips were pouring in. At the time of JonBenét's murder, there were reportedly 38 registered sex offenders living within 2 miles of the family's home. Dozens of suspects, from family friends to the Ramseys' housekeeper, were checked out and eliminated. Even JonBenét's 9-year-old brother Burke was questioned by a child psychologist. The video shown for the first time this year on Dr. Phil.
So what do you think happened to your sister? Phil? What do you think happened? I think that someone took her very quietly and put her down the basement. And then took a knife out and moved her back. Maybe a hammer in her head, maybe.
I want to say something to the person or persons that took this baby from us.
What?
The list of suspects narrows. Soon there will be no one on the list but you.
But the months passed with no arrest,
That's
and the
not
police
true.
had not yet asked the Ramseys all the questions they wanted. The couple's lawyers set conditions.
The Ramseys' attorneys wanted all the questions. They said they wouldn't go in for an interview with the police because they didn't know what the police were going to ask.
As the standoff continued, speculation about their motives grew ever more
Why
lurid.
would you
Was
not?
John Ramsey a pedophile? Did Patsy murder her own daughter? The tabloids were having a field day, even speculating about a motive.
Let me give the motive that is ascribed to you. Okay. You were downstairs, maybe she came down, she said, "Mommy, I wet my bed." You said, "Again, JonBenét," and you either pushed her or you hit her, you were exhausted, you were furious. You did it.
You have a child. Would you get up in the middle of the night and slaughter your child? We're parents. We love our children.
These are the two major motives. Either you sexually molested her or you snapped because primarily
Let
she
me
was
tell you something.
bedwetting.
I'm a cancer survivor of stage 4 cancer.
Okay.
John has lost a child.
Where does that come
in an
in?
automobile accident. That completely changes your outlook. When you are standing on the brink of death with a terminal illness, your priorities suddenly line up in a row, and you know exactly what the important things are in life. And bedwetting is totally insignificant.
Did either of you for a moment suspect each other?
No.
Not for
Absolutely
a
not for a
minute.
microsecond.
The Ramseys insisted that an intruder
I think
had
that's a little
broken into their
strange.
house.
Does it sound possible that a killer would sit for hours and hours in your house?
That
Sure.
house was so rambling. There were so many hiding places. He could be hidden for a week and we wouldn't find him.
What the fuck?
Living with metastatic breast cancer means being
Again, don't really
relentless
care
because
about your commercials. Get back.
The ransom note had
Nuts.
indicated
I don't even know
there
it's-
would be a call between 8 and 10 a.m.
And the police had prepped me on how to respond on a phone call, and it's very important that you hear JonBenét's voice.
Police officers were leaving at 9:30 and 9:45 before that time period of the phone call had even expired. One lone detective was left on the scene.
Detective Linda Arndt is left behind in the house with John and Patsy Ramsey.
She didn't have extensive homicide experience managing a kidnapping and what was about to unfold. This was
I just don't
likely
understand
pretty
how they
overwhelming for one
don't realize the
lone
fact that
police
they
officer.
tampered with all the evidence.
Everyone is cleared, but the
Why
family,
they
friends,
wouldn't be
victim advocates,
right, damn
and the
commercial.
detective.
So nobody was cleared.
Damn
Yeah,
commercial.
that doesn't make sense to me because everyone should be cleared from the scene.
The house is full of people. And so this is a crime scene that is now being destroyed.
Right.
I was praying. Linda Arndt had said to me, we're hopeful that the kidnappers will just drop JonBenét off someplace. And I kept looking out the window, clutching this cross, and just imagining that she was going to come running down the street.
Girl, no, you didn't.
They're waiting for a telephone call from the kidnapper. What's going to happen next?
Yeah. What's going to happen?
10 o'clock comes and goes, and there's no acknowledgement that the deadline imposed by the author of the ransom note is come and gone.
Nobody seemed to mark it or freak out about it. She noticed John Ramsey checking his mail in the kitchen and thought that was odd.
Linda Arndt tells the restless John, why don't you look around the house, see if anything is missing or looks strange.
Check the house, top to bottom. Look for anything that might belong to JonBenét that is in place where it shouldn't be.
John took a friend with him. They went to the basement, and John opened the door.
You opened the door to the small room.
I knew instantly what I'd found. I'd found my daughter. She was lying on a white blanket. The blanket was wrapped around her.
That's so messed
Her
up.
hands were tied above her head. She had tape over her mouth. I immediately knelt down over her, felt her cheek, took the tape off immediately off her mouth. I tried to untie the cord that was around her arms. I couldn't
Why
get
would
the
you
knot
do all of
untied.
this?
Picked her up, and I ran upstairs and laid her on the floor, and still had a hope that she was alive.
And I see John Ramsey carrying JonBenét up the
believe
last
that.
3 steps from the basement. She looked like she was sleeping. She had some marks on her face and on her neck. I knelt next to her and I leaned down to her face. And John leaned down opposite, and he asked if she was dead. And I said, yes, she's dead.
Wow.
And as we looked at each other, I remember, and I wore a shoulder holster, tucking my gun right next to me and consciously counting, I've got 18 bullets.
Why did you do that?
Because I didn't know if we'd all be alive when people showed up.
She clearly felt in danger. At that moment, she made it clear
Wow.
that she thought that John Ramsey killed his daughter and that they might kill her. It was shocking to me that she would think that.
Wow.
How is it that you have all these cops searching a home and nobody finds the body, but you asked John Ramsey to go look for things out of the ordinary?
Right.
He finds his daughter.
Oh, I'm
in a
sure he did
room
find
that
something
had
out the
never
ordinary.
been opened
Dead
by
body.
anybody in law enforcement. That's crazy.
He lays her on the living room floor where just a few minutes before, friends and neighbors have been walking and, you know, bringing in fibers and whatever to contaminate the scene. And then the coup de grace. He grabs a blanket, which is full of who knows what kind of contaminants, and throws it over the body.
Patsy was being kept out of the room, and I didn't want
Right.
Patsy to see JonBenét laying there like that.
I remember
yeah, but
walking in.
listen,
and seeing
I'm
her
sorry.
lying
This is the
there
only
on
time I
the
got.
Christmas tree.
No, go
I
watch
knelt
it.
down over her and
she is worth it though.
laid my body on her body and my cheek against her cheek, and it
We are
was cold.
deep. We are deep into the case. Does she? Hold on, let me go look. We're all gonna look together. Oh, white queen. Oh my god, I love it. That's so good. But she's playing pig. You gotta play Freddy with Freddy hair. No, you don't actually have to, but listen, we were in deep on that one too. I'm not even gonna lie. We were 100%. We had a night, okay? And I don't clear my search history, so it's there.
Father Raw was
Ow, I
here.
just smashed my toe.
And
I blame Kate.
he started
God, that actually really hurt, though.
saying the last rites, I believe. And I just
I-
kept saying, no, you know, ask God.
These people are nuts. Okay, I give him some pets. I give him pets. Hi, puppy. You need to get pets from your human.
So the kidnapping of Jean Bonnet
Come get pets.
has turned into the
Come
murder
get
of
pets.
Jean Bonnet.
Pet.
JonBenét Ramsey
Pet.
was murdered in a
Good
horrific
boy.
way.
He's
Many
a good dog.
injuries to this little girl's body.
Ouch! You're
We
very
had the
bony
X-ray
though.
of her
Why
skull, which
are you
shows a
like
fracture of
this?
massive.
Right. This is an 8-inch skull
Give
fracture.
it a
So we're talking a
rub.
major blunt force. This is just a massive
Okay,
blow.
all right. You need to chill.
But the ultimate
shall
cause
go
of death
boy.
was strangulation with something called a
Yeah, really,
garrote.
my poor toe. But the dog is
Brad,
cute.
what type of a weapon
He's a
is a
good
garrote? How does it
boy.
work?
It's a
You wanna get
device
down?
of a string, and it's
There you go.
wrapped around what ends
There you
up
go.
being a piece of a paint
Oh
brush.
man.
And what
Okay.
happens is,
Yeah, there is your
as
puppies.
JonBenét is
Wait,
losing
what?
consciousness. she's
Hold up.
leaning
I've
forward.
missed.
And so it is-
I've missed so much. Okay, hold
The
on.
ultimate cause of death was strangulation with something called a garrote.
Brad, what type of a weapon is a
the fuck
garrote?
is
How does it
that?
work?
It's a device of a string, and it's wrapped around what ends up being a piece of a paintbrush. And what happens is, as
Ooh, yes!
JonBenét
I'm
is
down. Send me the
losing
names.
consciousness, she's leaning forward. And so this gets tighter and tighter, and you can see how it cuts into my hand. You can see exactly why it cut into her neck. And that ultimately, according to the ME, is what killed her.
It seems to me that she had been attempting to remove the ligature from around her neck. And that tells me she was alive when she was garroted.
There were signs that JonBenét had also been sexually abused. The broken pieces of the paintbrush that
Wow.
were used for the garrote were also used to sexually assault her.
Haunted Hill House was on Portal. So, ooh. Let me take this
What does
down.
it tell you about the murderer? Just how vicious and awful this death was for her.
A person
Okay,
that
I've got
would
that down.
do this to a 6-year-old in this fashion.
I got it down.
clearly
I'll
is
do it next
into
week.
Sort of sadistic behavior, that they like torture to a certain extent. This is clearly somebody who was really into this.
And was here with the intent to kill.
That's why they're saying that he's a pedophile. That makes sense.
There was no evidence
Oh,
of a
really?
break-in. There was no jimmying on the front door. There were 4 people
That
in the
sucks.
house, and 1 died overnight. From the very beginning, they suspected the parents.
Go lay down.
Within
I'm not letting you
minutes
out of here.
of Jean Bonnet's body being found, this was who they were going to go after. And that's what they did.
The police are thinking, we gotta talk
Oh,
to
that's
the
I don't
parents,
know
and we
if I've
gotta
ever
talk to
seen
them
it.
right now before they start getting their story
Huh.
straight together.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the
There's a part 5. I don't care about any of this. I just want YouTube. Thanks. I think what's crazy is that they really did wait a whole week
They
to
brought
get
JonBenét's
interviewed
body
by
out past the
public.
candy canes that were decorating the front of the house, and there were only like 2 reporters outside.
I
to
have
capture
one.
that. And then
I literally
the
have
storm
one.
happened.
JonBenét Ramsey, the little girl in Colorado,
Hold
was
on, let
murdered.
me show you.
Queen JonBenét. JonBenét's murder has frightened residents of Boulder.
News outlets from around the world had descended
Where is
upon
it?
Boulder and were just hiding in trees and bushes and digging through our trash, following
Oh,
you
it's no
around
longer there,
town.
but there
I mean,
was
it
one.
it was war.
I need to get it.
The Jean Bonnet Ramsey case was completely out of control.
I think it's probably because I'm signed out of Google
And you
right
also have to
now.
remember the O.J. Simpson
So,
case had
here's what
wrapped
it
up.
is.
The 24-hour news cycle,
It
their
is what it
content had
is.
dried up. And so along came the Ramsey family, and we fit right into that slot.
JonBenét Ramsey was a precocious 6-year-old. She had been strangled to death in the basement of her own home.
You have the shock.
This is wild.
Incredibly horrendous.
This case
crime,
always blows my mind, though.
and then you have these videos that surface.
I wanna be a cowboy, sweetheart.
Think who's Katy Perry?
of this beautiful young girl.
Think who's Katy Perry? Hold up.
Dancing in her costumes, and those were the first viral videos.
Oh, really? No.
Turned it into a international circus.
Why would they think
Now we
that?
have
I mean, I guess I kind of see a
Instagram and
resemblance,
we
but
have Snapchat. But back then, this was one of the first moments in time where something truly went viral. This little girl's image was everywhere overnight.
yeah, really.
The biggest negative factor about John and Patsy Ramsey was that they had allowed their daughter to be in child beauty pageant contests, and people did not like them.
As our grandpa stated, this was a brutal, premeditated murder, not just a little doink on the head covered up by perverted staging.
It seems unimaginable to most parents out there that
But I'm
any
obsessed with her.
parent
I'm
would do something this
on
brutal,
Katy Perry.
this
Like, I
heinous to
don't
their
love
own
her. I don't
child.
hate her
And
by
yet,
any means, but it's
police found
yeah,
evidence from
it's
the
not one of
beginning
those like
that in
I
their
gotta go
minds
have
pointed
everything of
directly
hers.
to
I don't
Ramsey.
know.
Particularly, Amy, when you start with children of this age, when they die, tend to die at the hands
Listen,
of the
it's
parents.
more
So
Katy
the
Perry
focus is
for
naturally gonna be
you.
on the parents to begin with. Now, in the house, the ransom note is written on a pad that belongs to Patsy. So this is the notepad. This location right here is where the note was physically found by Patsy. The pen that was
I
used
just,
was in the house.
It's not my
So
not my
this
taste.
is the garrote that was used in the murder of Jean Benet.
Like I said, I don't
and
hate
it's
her,
of special
though.
significance because of what it was made from.
Yes, it basically is an artist's paintbrush that's broken. And what's important is that it actually came from Patsy's art supply.
And there were even fibers on the backside of the duct tape that had been on Jean Benet's mouth from Patsy's clothing.
And that was very,
See,
very
that's what I
important.
don't understand
But there
either.
are problems because Patsy lived in that house.
Oh, she got
Would
sweat.
those fibers have been there anyway?
Oh my god, that's
The police
fantastic.
started
I love
thinking,
it.
well, maybe this
She
is just
sweat
a cover-up,
on me.
that the Ramseys harmed their child some
That
way.
is great.
And panicked and tried to create basically a kidnapping scenario.
Patsy and John should have been taken to the police station immediately for separate
Yeah,
interviews,
really.
for examination of their body for defensive wounds, for collection of their clothing. That never happened.
They really botched the police
At this
work
point, they
on
haven't
this.
interviewed the mother or father. Not surprisingly, they're still very grief-stricken. They have not
So
been in any kind of condition to
starburst.
be interviewed.
Oh my
A couple
god,
of days
you
after
were
he finds
you
his
were done
daughter's
for,
body in the
friend.
basement,
I already
police
know.
speak with John Ramsey, but this
I
is
already
not
know.
a formal interrogation.
My
Just like
father,
one will
myself,
one will
we were
do
all
for a
marching to
nice
that police
buzz.
station.
Multiple
We
of
get blood, we
those,
get hair, we get
and it sounds
fingerprints.
like
The thing that
multiple.
really stuck with me is two detectives hand me their business cards, and one says narcotics officer, and the other says auto theft. And I bury my head into my hands because I knew at that point we were in a bad spot.
Yeah.
Boulder police didn't have the resources
Yeah, you
to
were.
solve a complex homicide.
John interviewed with Boulder Police. Patsy's doctor said she was too medicated and unable
Why
to
did
get
they
out of
not
bed.
call like
The
FBI
police
in at this
were
point?
faced
You know?
with lawyers and wealthy friends, people in the community who told the police, please give them room, they're grieving, what's the matter with you?
Though the police had spoken to the Ramseys, what they really wanted to do was formally
Conscious drunk by
interrogate.
the time she came on.
The
That
police are
I
thinking,
mean, there you
"We
go.
gotta
You
talk
had a
to those
good time,
parents,
but you
and
were
we gotta
able to
talk them
remember the
right now before they
experience.
start getting their story straight together.
Your lawyers advised you then not to submit to police questions.
Okay.
Why not? People said.
I'm gonna say it. Why did they need
you have one of
to? Why did they think to get a lawyer so soon? You know? It really is. Sorry. Hold on. There is some... Kate, we're gonna have to talk later, like when I'm done streaming. Cause Dizzle's got some drama.
Tell them everything.
Well, I don't
Sorry,
recall
okay.
what our lawyers
But-
told us.
But why is it that they didn't go for the police interview? If you're trying to do everything you can to make sure that your daughter has what she needs to have her murder brought to justice. What did Cap... Oh, did I haven't looked. I'll be honest. Let me go look. Probably. Yes. 100%. 100%. For sure. Oh, yes.
Was that at the time?
Yes.
We said, you know, yeah, we want to keep
Oh,
working
man.
with you.
Funny
but
stuff.
Can't you come here?
Anyways.
We can't go out. Patsy was in bed. Patsy was
Yeah. We'll have to
barely
talk.
able to move. We were perfectly willing and anxious to work with the police to find the killer.
No, you weren't,
We
because
had
you
a higher
would have.
priority at that point, and that was to bury our daughter.
The family is flying the body back to Atlanta for burial.
What? Excuse me?
On New Year's Eve, JonBenét was laid to rest just outside of Atlanta, Georgia.
I mean, I know it's important for
service is in
religious
loving
beliefs to go
memory
ahead and get your
JonBenét Patricia
spiritual things done,
Ramsey.
but that's, to me, that's
We
not
flew
a
back to
higher
Atlanta to
priority than
bury
making sure
JonBenét,
you know
Atlanta
who
being
did
our
it so that
home.
they're punished. But if you did it, then
Atlanta
probably
being where
wouldn't
my
have
oldest
it.
sister Beth is buried.
We give thanks today for JonBenét,
that?
for the love that she had for her parents.
I want to go back to the funeral.
Whatever we do,
Yeah, let's go back.
we're gonna go through it together. We may not get far, but sure as the star, wherever we are, it's together.
What a cute child. Just saying.
We sang
I just
that.
think it's
She
so
and I sang
sad.
that together. We'd sing it driving in the car, and we just knew that we would always be together in everything. I wanted my children to know that I was with them through thick and thin, regardless of what happened in life. You know, unconditional love.
I will never understand it either, because here's my thing. Even if you do not like somebody,
Every murder case that I've ever done,
even if you don't like children, to sit there and harm a child or to harm any innocent person, you know, you don't have to like somebody. It's just
the
wrong.
parents are so
and a child
used to
especially,
it.
they don't know
They
better.
sometimes make a nuisance out of themselves at the police department.
I don't know. I definitely
Ramsey,
think kids deserve
literally
better.
the day after JonBenét's funeral, sit down for a television interview.
The next thing the police knew, they
Right.
were on CNN.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.
Say hello to Webflow,
Is
the
that it?
world's most powerful
Oh, look.
all-in-one.
I'm gonna have to fix my ad blocker for real though. Exactly. I would respect a parent more that says, I can't do this, than someone
Many
who harms their
people found
child.
the Ramseys' behavior peculiar, suspicious, weird, off balance.
Yeah,
And
'cause it
From
is.
that thought, they must be guilty.
So here's the thing, right? Even when I sit there and, like, you know how, like, intrusive thoughts happen and you're just like, why am I even thinking about this? I've thought about stuff like this. Like, what would happen if my girls just all of a sudden they were no longer here? Like, that shit makes me want to cry every single time. Like, I can't see how their reaction to any of this is normal.
When you realized
You
that
know?
you two were the prime suspects, what did you think? What did you feel? What did you say?
Like, I can't see how this
we
is
were
reaction.
shocked. How could they think that? We were a normal family.
I just didn't believe it. You just can't believe it. I mean, you were suffering from having lost our child.
I
And then
believe
for
it.
someone to accuse you, it's just, you can't believe that would happen.
A lot of people said, you know,
John's
if that were
funny.
me, I'd be on the steps of the police department finding the murderer of my daughter.
Right! Why are you not finding the murderer?
And say they didn't do it.
If anyone knows anything, please help us.
We've
See, it just
sensed
seems
from our friends that
I don't know.
this tragedy has
fake,
touched
though.
not just ourselves and our friends, but many people.
As a mother, my heart went out to this couple.
And if I were a resident of Boulder, I will tell my friends to keep your babies close to you.
They're not gonna have to because you did it.
But my journalistic brain said to me,
What the
this
fuck?
isn't right. They should be talking to the police, not the public.
Police end their 10-day search of the Ramsey house and remove the crime scene tape.
It is unknown if the family intends to resume residency at the home. We have no comment on the whereabouts of the family at this time.
I'm so sorry, Kate.
Starting from the
That's
beginning
terrible.
of this case, we the media.
And I honestly, I
wrapped
can't
up
imagine.
Boulder
I can't imagine
Police
having
Department wanted to tell us
to
about
deal
what
with
they were
all of
doing
that.
in the John Benet Ramsey case.
And I'm sorry you had
For
to.
the most part, the police were very tight-lipped in this thing. They didn't tell us a lot of secrets. They didn't leak a lot of information. Other than broadly, we think the mom did it.
People who believe Patsy killed their daughter believe it was over a bedwetting
But here's
and then
the thing,
staged
she
to
was-
look like an intruder.
She was
bedwetting
sexually
theory was a big theory at
assaulted.
the time.
This is
The
what I don't
bedwetting
understand.
Theory suggests that Patsy was angry with John Benet and killed her because the bed was wet.
I'm a cancer survivor of stage 4 cancer. When you are standing on the brink of death with a terminal illness,
Not true.
your priorities suddenly line up.
Not
Bedwetting
true.
is totally insignificant.
False.
I love my children.
You become more
I wouldn't
stressed, and so you will
harm
snap
them
more
for
easily at
anything
things.
in the
I
world.
don't believe that.
But Americans were fascinated with the possibility that the Ramseys might have done this.
Oh, I hate when
What
people
happened
do
in
that.
that house?
Like, look at how much my
Did
kid loves me,
she
or
go
they'll
berserk
flip it
and
like
hurt John
they're
Benet?
keeping my kid from
You know,
me,
by
and
accident,
realistically,
not on
that's not
purpose,
what's
certainly.
happening.
Did Burke
I'm sure it
hurt her
happens sometimes,
by mistake
but-
and cause her death?
It was leaked by Boulder police that it was possible that Burke Ramsey's voice was on the 911
I don't like her
call
lips. I'm sorry,
that
that's
Patsy
not
had
important.
made.
But
Patsy?
I don't like it.
The 911 operator believed that she heard an unexplained voice at the end of the 911 call.
Patsy Ramsey has put the phone down, but she hasn't hung it up. And the 911 recording continues.
I heard her say, okay, I've called the police, now what? And I thought, huh. And then I heard.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you're
two people
sick. I'm sure
talking
you're sick from
to
drinking so
her,
much.
And I heard a male
Sure.
voice respond, and then I heard a more faint
Wow.
voice.
I can't. I don't get it.
Some speculated
I don't
at the
get it.
time that faint voice might have
get
been
it.
Burke, but the family denied it, saying he was asleep at the time.
I mean, it's one thing to have to miss out on something because you're working,
We
right?
asked
You're
an
working,
expert
you're
to
trying
weigh
to
in
provide,
on
making sure that your child
My name
has
is
everything.
Ed Primo.
It's another to
I'm an
miss
audio
out just
video
because you want to
forensic
be
expert.
social.
And I was asked about what people have heard throughout
Sometimes
the
you
years
gotta
from
get
this
your
911
priorities
call.
straight.
Here we go.
What's your name? Are you Oh my God!
So when Patsy is speaking to the operator, we could clearly see bright
Right.
yellow and orange colors. And as I zoom in to the recording here, I can see the formants. This is a visual representation
Aw.
of sound. The brighter the color,
Oh
the
my
louder the volume.
goodness. What a precious little child.
The sound changes right here.
Little cheeks.
The section in question where people are hearing
Aw,
voices.
I'm so
We can
sorry,
see
man.
some sounds, but we don't
That's
see
terrible.
the formants like we saw over here.
He is
so I
precious.
can't rely on those being words. There's just not enough signal to noise ratio in order to be able to perceive what those sounds are.
Wait.
They could be noise and they could be voices. I just can't, as a scientist, arrive at a reasonable conclusion.
The Secret Service and the FBI also
Wow.
concluded that no additional conversation is audible.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think we've given way too much weight on
I am
whether
gonna
or
send a
not
gift
Burke
back.
Ramsey was present when Mom makes the 911 call. If Burke's voice was there or John Ramsey's voice is there, does that mean they're the killer?
And it's important to remember that the Boulder police
Okay, that
never
one.
considered
'Cause
Burke
I
a
melted
suspect.
from the
They
cuteness.
suspected the parents,
Kinda
even though the
stuff was a
Ramseys
horrible baby
had
before I came in
no
the picture.
history
Oh.
of abuse or neglect.
But
of
see,
their children.
sometimes kids need stuff like
All
that.
the
You know what I'm
evidence
saying?
shows me
They
that
need
up
stuff
until
like
this
that.
point, they were devoted parents.
You know, it
Would
just
you
takes one person to
get up
make a
in the
kid
middle of the
feel
night,
safe.
slaughter your
That's the
child?
biggest thing.
We're parents. We love our children.
There's so many puzzle pieces here that just don't fit.
Do you really think your daughter's murderer will be found?
Yes, I do. Because The killer has never been pursued. An objective, wide investigation hasn't taken place. The parents have been focused on. That's all that's been done.
It might be an unknown
Because-
entity then, not one of the suspects we've all been currently talking about and dissecting.
I don't think it's any of the suspects we're talking about.
What we know is that just within a few mile radius of the Ramseys' home, there was approximately 38 to 40 sex offenders in that area. And the question is, have they all been completely vetted?
Was it an accident? Was it intentional, premeditated?
What?
I want to say something to the person or persons that took this baby from us. The list of suspects narrows. Soon, there will be no one on the list but you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the
that's
ABC
so
News
sweet.
YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more
I mean,
videos,
yeah,
show
you're right,
highlights,
though.
and
It is
watch
kinda
live event
crazy.
coverage, click on the right over here.
How quickly that happened. Day one. What's this one? Commercial. We have commercial.
Hey, Ramsey captivated the nation.
This is what's
put her
interesting
family
to
under the
me.
microscope, with many speculating that her
Let's look at
father,
comments.
mother, brother, or all three were involved in her killing. Tonight, her brother Burke speaks after 20 years of silence about that painful saga, and new evidence is brought to light. Here's my Nightline co-anchor, Juju Chang.
I remember the casket was small and her eyes were closed. I think one of her eyes was a little bit like droopy or something. I thought that was weird.
How did you feel seeing her?
A lot of sadness. I don't think I really fully grasped, like, after this, I won't see her again.
Burke Ramsey, now 29, breaking a 20-year silence, coming out of the shadows
Really?
to speak publicly for the first time about his sister JonBenét's murder in an interview with Dr. Phil.
The next thing I remember, and my dad came and told me JonBenét's in heaven now, and he started crying. Then I started crying.
He was just 9 when his little sister was found viciously strangled in the basement of their own home. The child beauty queen, eternally 6 years old, whose gruesome, unsolved murder became America's fixation. 2 competing theories lingered for years. Did an intruder break in and kill? Or were the Ramseys themselves somehow responsible? Burke, who was reportedly paid for the interview, is the only family member in the house the night of the murder who's never come forward with his side of the story. Did you hit your sister over the head with a baseball bat or a flashlight?
Absolutely not.
Burke says he stayed in bed for hours as dozens of investigators and loved ones swarmed the house. Critics would say you weren't curious because you already knew. He didn't have to get
Oh
up and
my
check 'cause you knew
goodness.
exactly
Well,
what had happened.
I mean, I didn't know
she
if there
can't be pissed when she ain't
was a
doing
guy
anything.
downstairs. My dad was.
You don't do
chasing
anything
off,
to
like,
show that you're this kid's mom.
Everyone looks at
That
the
child's not
interview
gonna
of
teach
Burke
you-
and
treat you
thinks,
like the
why
mom."
is this young man smiling?
I don't see a smile as much as I see an uncomfortable facial expression. But
Maybe.
I don't see that as smile, happy smile. I see that as uncomfortable guy.
That's fair.
ABC's chief legal analyst Dan Abrams spent years covering the saga.
Burke Ramsey's been one of the most sought-after interviews by every news and tabloid organization out there. Because
Okay. I just want to see
back
the
at
interview. I
the
don't want
time,
to see all this.
people were saying, oh, maybe Burke did it, or what is...
Excuse me?
JonBenét. Oh, hello.
Nearly
Oh. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Dude, you've been through so much. Like, really. What? I'm looking for which one I want to watch. Okay.
Angie's List is now
Is this-
Angie, and it's
I don't care about Angie's List. This case is nuts, and I'm getting so tired too.
Case that
Probably
transfixed
short
the country
today,
for
but I'm
nearly 20
tired.
years, the murder of 6-year-old John Benet
God.
Ramsey. Well, for the first time ever, her brother Burke is speaking out.
So wait,
that he seems to have.
They're not okay.
He's smiling.
First of all, who names their child Burke? Besides the point. This is what I want to see. I want to see the full thing.
John Benet's brother, Burke Ramsey.
Because a lot of people think that he did it. Google. Google. I don't care about what he's doing. So this is what I'm interested in. Don't care. Mental problem? I don't know. I really think they just like everything about the investigation got fucked up.
Your sister, John Benet, was killed. There were 3 people in that house that we know.
Okay, we don't need the intro.
Apparently, still a lot of attention around it.
Well, my goal here is that you answer all the questions. You said I can ask you anything. Nothing is off limits. You speak about this one time. Some people have speculated that your parents weren't protecting you, they were hiding you.
Yeah.
And that for this last 20 years, that you've been hiding out instead of just choosing not to speak. What do you say to that?
For the last 20 years, I wanted to grow up like a normal kid, which does not include like going in front of TV cameras.
But if you had answered the curiosity, might that have stopped it all?
To me, it seemed like it would rouse it all up again.
Yeah, probably.
I want to ask you some tough questions, but first, let's turn the hands of time back a little bit.
Yes.
When you
Let's
look
go back in time, Dr. Phil.
Deal at your house?
Yeah. Decorations in the yard, on the inside. My parents would.
They'd be
throw a
guilty,
party every
though.
year.
Hello, I'm Patsy Ramsey. Daddy's not here, but this is John Benet. She's 4, Burke is 7, and we'd like to welcome you to our home and wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Now, 2 days.
I feel like their whole family is something is wrong here.
The party was at your house, right?
Yeah.
And you had people tour the house?
I think there was like a Boulder home tour thing. Like we weren't the only people that did it.
Right. They went house to house.
Yeah.
And looked at all the decorations. So when do you guys open gifts?
Yeah, he does look really uncomfortable.
Christmas morning.
Do you remember what you did that morning?
I remember peeking down, and I remember seeing like an electric train and a bike, and I was super excited.
Was John Benet with you?
Yeah.
Did she peek too?
Yeah, I think so.
Aw, peeking
Did
at
you
the
get what you asked
presents.
for that year?
Nintendo 64.
And what did John Benet get?
I think she got a big dollhouse. We both got bikes.
Do you remember
Expensive as
the
fuck.
last time you saw John Benet alive?
I don't understand.
I want to say it was in the car on the way back from the Whites.
I think this is the last picture
Really?
that was ever taken of her alive.
I don't remember the hair being that long, but
It's hard to believe that a short time later, she would be dead.
Yeah, really.
Where was your bedroom in relation to hers?
I'm gonna do like 5 more minutes of this and then I'm going to sleep. I am tired. I'm so tired.
down the hall.
I don't know if I can stay out tonight, but this is interesting.
Yep.
Interesting
When you went to
stuff.
bed, did you hear anything out of the ordinary at all during the night?
No.
You don't recall
didn't?
waking up, hearing anything in retrospect?
No.
Do you remember waking up that morning?
Yep. The first thing I remember is my mom bursting in my room, really frantic, saying like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Running around my room looking for Jean Benet. At that point, I was awake.
Why did you feel
scared, you know, when mom came rushing in. I felt like something bad happened.
Yeah, something bad did happen.
You can kind of hear her
Shona.
I sure mom like going to go.
How old was he?
And the next thing I remember is a police officer coming to my room. And
So wait, if he was 7 when she was 4, so he was 9.
laying there
Okay.
What time?
He was 9.
early. I don't remember.
Had to be. It was still dark, so it had to be pretty early. Did she turn on the light when she came in?
I don't remember if she did or not.
How long after she came in?
Oh well, it's been 20 years, so yeah, I can see why you don't remember.
So she
Bro.
comes in, and were you asleep when
They're
she came in?
guilty.
She wakes
They're
you up?
guilties.
And she's running around your room saying,
I-
"Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh." What else did she say? Did
I
you
don't
know she was looking
understand
for John Bonet?
how people are so. I'm look at me judging the comments.
After she left, what did you do?
I just laid there and didn't really know what else to do.
Just laid there.
It's really odd to me that you're 9 years old and your mother comes in the room
Okay.
in seemingly the middle of the night because it's dark and says, "Where's my baby?
You
Where's
just
my
turn
baby?"
that up on
And
full
he runs
screen.
out of the room and you just lay there, as opposed
Right.
to getting up and going out and saying, "What's going on?" And then a police officer comes in your room, which I assume is the first time in your entire life that a police officer has come in your room with a flashlight, looking around, and you still just stay in bed.
To be fair, I didn't know it was a police officer. It's just kind of.
But somebody comes in your room with a flashlight, and you never get up and say, "What is going on here?"
I guess I kind of like to have.
I got yes. Come here. I can't hear you. What? Negative. But I will take a hug. Okay, but it's past bedtime. I'll take a hug though. You guys are not so neat. Oh, I got hair in my mouth. What the heck is that? Did you paint her nails?
I painted her nails.
Oh, okay. Well, I think this is where I'm gonna end because I got tiny people in here. And this one, I need to check your eye again before you go to bed. So I'm gonna go ahead and end right here. I'm getting sleepy.